Hi there, I'll be presenting to you Gemminate, which permits anyone learn much efficiently from any textbook. So first things first, if you have no account, you could just click on create account. In my case, I've already created an account, so I'll just sign in. You are taken to the dashboard where I'm asked to create my first goal. So I'll click on create first goal and I'm going to upload a PDF. So in this case, go to download. I have this physics textbook and then I'm going to put in my learning objective. So in this case, I'll say thermodynamics. So Gemini permits you to take or ingest a textbook like this one we've added, and then you specify a goal and some description, which this is optional, but the most important is the objective. So in this case, I want to master thermodynamics, so I'll just put in thermodynamics, and then once this textbook is ingested, our AI, that's in this case specifically the Gemma 4 26 billion parameter variant, is going to extract all the chapters which have anything to do with the thermodynamics or which are directly related to thermodynamics, such that we will now focus only on these chapters. So instead of just looking at or reading this textbook, which is about 850 pages, that's going through page by page, reading and not necessarily mastering every concept, we are going to pass this into Gemminate, as we can see. So you see here we've passed this into Gemminate, and then it selects the chapters for us. As you can see, it picks thermal energy, heat and work, and thermodynamics. Now, if you pick something wrong, we could always deselect, or you could deselect this if you're interested only in thermal energy, heat, and work. Let me select this back. You see, it first of all gets all the chapters, and then it selects those linked to what we want. And this is done very efficiently by the Gemma 4 model. So I'll confirm the chapters. Once I confirm the chapters, I move to the next step. So in the previous steps, we had extracting table of contents, AI chapter analysis, and then we have the analyzing chapter structures and extracting visual information, which is already done. Now we are just going to generating vector index. So in this year, we'll be able now to link up the AI chat with the textbook directly. So wait a little for this to be completed, and then we'll get back once it's done. It's actually done already. I thought it's going to take more time. Anyway, first of all, first thing to notice that you see we have two chapters here: thermodynamics, and then this other chapter, or the first chapter, thermal energy, heat, and work. Now, this first chapter is already the processing of this first chapter is done. Now, the second chapter is still being processed. So while it's being processed, the student can already start with this first chapter. So now you see, I'll click on this page 341. It takes me exactly to the part of the textbook which or the chapter of interest actually. So I could go back and show you how it works. You see, you could go back, you could have several goals. So I could add another goal. So let me say I add mechanics. While mechanics is running, I will be showing you how it works. So let me just have this. You have Nelcon and Parker, you have other textbooks. Let me still pick the same textbook. So you see how when I change the topic, it automatically picks different chapters. Again, this is done by the Gemma 4 model. So there we go. While this one is running, the same process as with this, we can get back to this other one. You see here, motion in one dimension. That's not what we want. So I'm going to click on this. When you click on it, you ensure that the AI chat is on the specific chapter. Our current chapter is thermal energy, heat and work. You should know that the AI chat is designed such that each chapter has its own chat. In the future, we would have sub chats that's different chats in a given chapter, but for now each chapter has its own chat. So one thing you'll notice is that some parts of these sections are blurred out, and the reason why this is blurred out is because we want the user or the learner to focus on what matters first. So we have prerequisites. So I'm going to click here. Always make sure we are on the current chapter. That's in the case where you have loaded many chapters. Anyway, even if this one finishes to load, you see it's done loading. It's because when it was loading, it was turning. It's done loading, but there's a lock here because you need to qualify before getting to the next chapter. So let me click on prerequisites. Let me hit prerequisites. Okay, there we go. You'll notice that before I can get to this next one, I must tick this one. So let me tick this because I'm done. I will say I'm done with that, though it's actually running. So what are the prerequisites? Based on the provided textbook snippets, yeah, there are no explicit prerequisites listed. but this is what they expect: kinetic energy, internal energy, all this energy stuff, work and energy transfer, and so on and so forth. So that is it, and then you have some suggestions. Okay, what are the main concepts? You could ask these questions anyway. We're going to get to that. So that's it. I'm done with the first part. Then I move now to the next part. You see, if I try clicking on this, it doesn't work until I actually hit this chapter summary. So when I hit on chapter summary, it's going to generate me a summary. By default, it's detailed. It's a detailed summary. You could see when we get to the summary part, you'll see how we could change the type of summaries we could generate. So it's generating the summary. Once it's done with generating the summary, or as it's generating the summary, we could actually click on check. So you see, when you click on check, it shows now the other parts. So now we go we go step by step actually. So this is a summary of this section. Let me get back. Okay, detailed summary, temperature on this, and also on. So just before you actually get into the textbook or into the chapter, you could you already have prerequisites and you have the summary. Notice how this have different colors. So on the side, let me refresh. Okay, so you see refreshing, it shows me that this is my actual position, or this is the last section I ticked. You see on this side here, this here is a normal chart, and then this black is when we have a summary. So they all have different colors. These different primitives have different colors. Anyway, that's it. Once I'm done with that, I could click now on the actual chapter. I'm chapter 11, so I could say click on this page chapter. Now it's reading mode, so I'll read, and then get up to page 342. So I have to stop at the level of temperature. So here am I. So when I read until I get to this point, see, I read until I get to this point. I would have to stop because the next is converting between Celsius. So converting. Okay, so this is the next part actually. So I have to read all this. Let me see. I have to read all this part, and then once I'm done with reading this, I have this video that is automatically generated. So I'll click on this because I cannot move to the next if I don't click on this. So I'll click again on this, and then it's going to go to YouTube and search for a video related to thermal energy, heat, and work. So this okay, I found some videos. Click on the videos. See, now I have some videos which I can watch from Khan Academy, Lighthouse Lab, and Khan Academy again. So thermal energy, temperature, and heat. So I could click on this, and I started watching actually. So I will have to watch this before I continue with the textbook. So it actually supplements what I already have. So here I have this. So instead of just reading the textbook, or only reading the textbook, now I have a video from Khan Academy on YouTube, which I could be, which I could watch. Now, because I've clicked on that, or because I've selected the video, you see, let me refresh again. This should be okay. You see now the color changes too. So it means that when you have a long chart, you could know exactly that, okay, this is a video, this was a summary, and then this was a normal chart. So let me get back to the last one. That's a video. So you could click on this and you view videos. Anyway, now I could check this, and the next part unlocks. So I have worked example. See, after the work example, it automatically adds this quiz. So this is the job of Gemma 4 to pick this kinds of parts and then automatically add quizzes related to the previous work example. So yeah, I'll hit this page. I have this work example converting between temperature scales and this. So this is the work example part. And then now I have a quiz. So I'll click on quiz, and a quiz is going to be generated. Converting between temperature scales, this scale. So it's going to generate me a quiz which is linked to this. So it means that if I am learning this and I'm not satisfied with what I have, I could generate my own quiz. And yeah, I'm obliged to generate the quiz before I move on, without which I'll not be able to unlock the other parts. So this forces you to actually make sure you don't forget to generate the quiz. So that's it. I'll click on next. Let me pick one at random. Okay. So go previous. Pick this one. Okay. With explanation. Next. Just picking randomly, and I finish the quiz. So that's it. My quiz is complete. So that's how I move now. From here now I can select this and I move now to the next part. So you just keep doing this right up to the end of the chapter. So you're no longer actually just looking at the textbook. You now have this interaction with the Gemma 4 model. Yeah, there's different primitives like the video, the quiz, what if analysis, flashcard, Feynman technique, and then quiz again, and then finally the qualify. So let me get back again here. So here we have all this. But before getting to that, let me also show you what you could do. You could yourself generate a quiz. So yeah, I select this. We have fixed this to a max of 20. So if I put 20, 25, it's not going to work. So let me say I put 10 quizzes. I generate 10 quizzes, and I specify that I want to generate 10 quizzes on. If I say I pick the same topic, you see, I could just copy this. But anyway, another good thing, what we've added to Gemminate is that once you highlight this, you have automatic get quiz. So I could click on get quiz. I don't need to write that. I just put 10, 10. That's it, and I hit enter. So now it's going to generate a quiz for me. This is manually, but these other ones, these other primitives which are added in the sections will permit you to be obliged to actually generate the quizzes. So that's it. We are generating the background. You check on quizzes. You see, we have only the first quiz we generated. We're still waiting for this one to be generated. Okay, so let's continue. You have this, and then the what if analysis. Obviously, because this is still in the background and we're using the same chat, we don't want to stop this. So let me just be patient. Once it's done, we're going to go into the what if analysis. So this is a lab. This is snap lab temperature change of land and water. So did it take longer and all of this? So I guess because Gemma sees that, okay, this is some kind of snap. This is a snap lab. We're talking about temperature change of land and water. They added this what if analysis right there. So the quiz is generated. Let me click on quiz, and I'll see freezing point next. You see all of this related to the question that was being posed, or the previous question that was in the textbook. So that's it. Let me close that and get to what if analysis. So here I have what if analysis. Let's go on temperature change of land and water. So that's it. So you have this what if analysis. This is okay. So that's it. Now this is a normal chart. So it's just what if we use this. Let me get back. Okay, it's pretty long. Okay, to perform the lab compares this, and what if we use okay. Okay, so that's it. So you have different what ifs, and then you have different questions. So you have like if you modify the way you modify impact on temperature, and then primary reason, and so on and so forth. So that's it. Let me select that and then move to the next one is a flashcard. Again, you could just highlight here. Let me highlight this, and I generate a flashcard. So I could get a flashcard like this easily. I could get a video easily too, quiz. I could ask a question. I could also get a summary. So if I say, for example, before getting to the flashcard, if I say summary, I could pick the type of summary. Let me say brief. I want a brief summary. Hit enter, and I'm getting my brief summary. So that is it. I get my brief summary, and then from there we'll move on to the flashcard. It was okay, it's already generated. So it's brief. So makes sense that it's already generated. That's it. Hitting on this conduction in this, so I could click on this, and it takes me to the exact place in the textbook. So we implemented RAG such that you could have references, and when you click on the references, it takes you to where that was mentioned in the textbook, like as you could see here. And you could obviously still highlight this again and then generate whatever you want to generate. So let me say temperature, and I generate, let me say heat capacity. Let me take this all, and I generate a video. So let me get a video which has to do with specific heat capacity. Let me take off heat transfer, specific heat and heat capacity. Okay, so let me get a video. Found some videos. Get to video. There we go. See, we have a video on specific heat capacity. That's it. Let me move now to the flashcard. Generate a flashcard based on conduction, convection, and radiation. Based on this last part. So generate me that flashcard, and I would see it in a moment. So by default, all these are 3. That's when you just click on this. But if you want to have more, you could simply select, for example, it's generated already. Okay, let me go back to flashcards, so I'll see that. So I could view cards, click to flip, so on and so forth. So that's it. So as I was saying, you could select flashcards here, and then you change the number of flashcards that you want. So let me take that off and then get back. So now I could select this, should I'm done. Feynman technique. So fun in physics, you see it adds this exactly in time with this section. Let's do a Feynman technique on fun in physics. Anyway, that's it. So let me select this. Move to the next. I have this final quiz. Now the problem with this is that once one is running and you click on another one, it stops the other one, so it stops the previous generation. So we should in the future we'll have a way to, or we'll ensure that, or we make sure that whenever it's generated or whenever is a primitive is being generated from the sections, that's from these obligatory sections, you cannot stop it by clicking on another one. So it makes sure that you actually have this being generated. So that's it for the Feynman technique. And then quiz. Create a quiz about on this, and okay, let me just complete that. That's fine. So once the quiz has been generated, we'll get to quiz again and we'll be able to see that quiz. Now the final section is qualify section. So the quiz has been generated. Let me close that. And then now we go to qualify. Again, as we're saying, we should, okay, next. Okay. So again, as we're saying, the colors here tell us, like for example, this tells me this is a summary. This tells me that this is a quiz, this is a quiz, this is a normal text, this is a summary, this is a video. So I could just say, okay, I want to get back to the summary here. This is summary. You could see that. And this was a quiz. See, quiz, and so on and so forth. So now the final stage for me to unlock this next chapter, I will need to get to qualify. I will start by giving responses to these different questions, and then what I'll do is I will write it down and then upload it. So take a photo or photos and then upload. That said, let me write this out and then upload, and then we'll see what we get. So I have my solution, which I'm going to upload. I'll get to this one. There we go. It's actually this. Let me open it so you could see the solution I'm talking about. The second to the last one. Okay, there we go. So I have this six or this for the first 6 questions. I have the solutions. I just left out the others because normally with 6 responses you'll be able to move to the next section. So that's with 6 out of 10 actually. So here are my responses, and I've uploaded it right here. Now let me score responses. You see, your score is 5 out of 10. Score is too low. Please try again to pass. So now what I will do is, let me get back here again. Okay. So if you look at this here, I said thermal energy is not an extensive property representing the total electric energy. So this is actually garbage. Let me have this next one. So I cancel this in the next, and I have thermal energy is an extensive property representing the total K and P of all particles in the substance. Temperature is an intensive property, and so on and so forth. So now let me go back again, and then I'll choose this last file. This last file here. Okay, so let me score responses again. So there you go. Once you pass, you now move to the next. So you now qualify for the next, and the lock is removed. Now, one last feature of Gemminate which I want us to explore is the visual option, or the ability to generate visuals. So here I will click on this draw rectangle to crop visuals. So I'll click, and I'm going to crop out this visual. So let me say I want to understand better how the force and the area affect the output pressure. So let me crop this figure out with this description. You see this? There we go. Once you select to use this tool, you just have this generate visual option. So the visuals are generated based on this input. So I hit generate visual and hit enter, and then the visual is going to be generated. The visual has been generated, so I'll just hit this open, and you see how we could modify the force. So I'm increasing the force, and then we're getting the pressure. So there's a resulting pressure right here. So increasing the pressure, the force increases the resulting pressure, reduces the resulting pressure, and then reducing the area increases the resulting pressure, and then increasing the area. See the area. This is the area in question, which is increasing. You see it increases, and the pressure reduces. While we reduce the area, the pressure increases, and you increase the force. See, increase the force, and then the pressure too increases. So this permits us to visually see how all this works, and interactively or in an interactive manner modify certain parameters and this permits the learner to better understand how they work. So that's it for how Gemminate works. Thank you for getting up to this point. Hopefully you're going to head over to Gemminate, to this link, and then try it out.